I taught him from the age of 5 through the whole of primary school. And I remember him clearly as he was really tiny for his age. Smallest in the class. Well, his year, actually. And as he went through school, a lot of the younger children outgrew him because he hardly grew. In fact, I think the nurse spoke to his parents about it, as we were concerned that it might be a growth or hormone defect. And he was really quiet when he started, like a tiny little mouse. Hardly got a peep out of him. But I think around year 4, there was some teasing. I wouldn't say bullying, the school wouldn't have allowed that, but just some silly names and low-level ostracizing, like not choosing him for their football team, that sort of stuff. But he took it very badly. I remember that. He got quite angry, and for the next couple of terms, he kept getting into trouble for hitting others and fighting, and just generally being a bit rude and disruptive. But he settled back down and got on with school life. But from then on, he was much more vocal. Oh, and he loved English. And it wasn't his mother tongue. He was first-generation British. His parents escaped from Somalia in the 90s. But he loved reading, and he was fantastic at writing. He even won the local council Christmas card competition one year with a poem. And he only left primary school in 2009. Not long ago, is it? So yes, he wasn't remarkable or stand out in any way, except that he was very small and good at writing. So when I heard that name on the news, my ears pricked up because it was familiar, but I didn't think for a second that it was him. And I wasn't watching it, it was just on in the background while I was making dinner. My friend Sally was coming over, and so I missed the actual news items. But I remember thinking, oh, I'll watch it later and see if it's our Yusuf Khalif. But when Sally arrived, it was the first thing that she mentioned. Did you hear about the terrorist attack at Oxford Circus? And so, of course, she was telling me about it, and she said, apparently, he's from Harlesden. And at that moment, her words and his name on the news collided in my brain, and I just sat there in shock. She said, Ray, are you okay? And I somehow motioned to turn on the news, and there it was. A photo of him. Of Yusuf. And she could tell by my face what had happened, and she said, oh my God, did you teach him? And I nodded. I think my mouth was open. We just sat there, watching Dermot Murnaghan talk about this person, this child, this small boy that I had taught for 6 years, and how he'd blown himself up in the middle of the Oxford Street crossing, you know, that big intersection in the shape of a cross. And he'd killed at least 27 and injured more than 80. And it's been a couple of months since it happened. But I must admit that I have taken it very personally. It's hard to describe. I know that I am in no way responsible for what he chose to do that day, but I do feel a sense of responsibility. I was his teacher for 6 years. That's about a third of his life that I had an input, an impact on his life. I was part of his growth for 6 years. How did I, as one of his educators, one of his teachers, not help him learn right from wrong, not teach him kindness, empathy, tolerance. What happened? How was he radicalized? When did his thinking change or begin to feel right to him? Could I have helped him? Could I have stopped him? Did we as a school do enough to support him in year 4 when the teasing happened? Could it be traced back to that? All these questions. And I've hardly slept. How can I carry on teaching? It all seems so pointless. When I look at the faces of the children now, I wonder, what if one of them grows up to be like him? And then I think about the 33 people that he killed that afternoon. That was the total. That's the number that I have in one of my classes. Some Londoners, some tourists, just people out on a Saturday afternoon doing some Christmas shopping who never got to celebrate Christmas. And I can't get them out of my head, and I can't stop feeling guilty about it. I was responsible for helping to shape this child. And I failed. We all failed.